Good afternoon. Whoa, you ask. Friday, Pastor Dan. Why are you here on your day off? Well, I tell you. I made a promise to you all that I need to keep, and that is we posed 2 questions at our discussion on Wednesday, and I promised you that on Sunday I would try to answer those questions in my sermon. However, I'm not going to be here to preach to you on Sunday. Instead, Bishop Mansholt and his staff at the East Central Synod in Wisconsin have recorded or pre-recorded a Sunday worship service, which I will share with you folks via a link on Facebook and on the website. That'll be, I'll try to have that done by tomorrow. I won't be doing it. Someone who knows much more about this stuff than I do will be doing it. But anyway, there will be a link for you to watch that worship service presented by the bishop and his staff. But we still have those 2 questions. You know, that's important that we stop by and address them. And if you remember, the 2 questions were, number 1, what is the Holy Spirit? Number 2, who is a true believer? Now, of course, these are complex theological questions that scholars have debated for years, but we got a couple minutes, so what the heck. Okay, Holy Spirit. We're going to approach this through a verse, 2 verses, from the gospel text from John this Sunday. And Jesus has been resurrected. He's gone to visit the disciples who were locked behind doors in fear. And when he comes in, he says to them, or he says this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained. Kind of strange sounding stuff, but from it I think we can get some good ideas as to what who the Holy Spirit is. Holy Spirit is from God, okay? We got that. And the Holy Spirit becomes from God part of our very being, breath, which we need to live. And as I broadly interpret this business about forgiving the sins of some and retaining the sins of others, I see it as a dynamic between good and evil. Therefore, this Holy Spirit from God enables us to differentiate good from evil, what is real from what is BS, and that is bogus stuff. The Holy Spirit enables us to see, in other words, what really matters. So, the Holy Spirit is enlightenment from God, which enables us to see what really matters. The Holy Spirit is enlightenment from God, which enables us to see what really matters. What really matters? Abundant life through a connection to God in Jesus Christ is what matters. And that life looks like, among other things, it looks like living in honest, genuine relationships with yourself, with others, and with your God. It's a life that desires peace rather than division. And I am surprised at the number of people who seem to live their lives to cause trouble. You know what I mean? I don't have time for them anymore. I'm too old for that. And this matters. This life matters because we seek to grant forgiveness rather than seeking revenge. As we've talked about before, we're not talking about lack of consequences. We're talking about forgiveness. It matters to be thankful rather than greedy. Living in hope rather than living in despair matters. I've grown weary of despair. I've also grown weary of fear-mongering. Get a life. It matters, as we have restated possibly way too many times. It matters to look out rather than wasting your time and everybody else's by standing fixated in front of the mirror. You don't know how boring that is for everyone. And love matters. Honest, genuine, unconditional love, received and given, matters. Okay, then what is a true believer? A true believer is someone who tries to live this way. Now we know that we're imperfect human beings and no one will ever be able to approach perfection in trying to live this way, but believers earnestly try. So there you have it. The Holy Spirit is enlightenment from God, which enables us to see what really matters. And the true believer is the one who earnestly pursues that which really matters. So tune in this Sunday for the bishop's worship service. Continue to use your head, wash your hands, and keep the faith. Be well, stay safe, and peace out.